Hi, it's Archie3. Did you know that there are thousands of pyramids in the Philippines? They're mostly here in this island of Bohol, but there are also some in Luzon. These pyramids are called the Chocolate Hills, and they're thought to be natural, but they're actually man-made. They're all very regular. A lot of them actually have 4 sides, and the slopes are too steep to be natural. And when you look from above on satellite photos, you can see that this is all man-made. All these hills are not natural. They form giant glyphs, and close in, smaller glyphs. The whole surface of this island has been modified by ancient people. So the reason everybody thinks that all these hills are natural is because that's what geologists say and think. But the problem with that is that geologists only see our planet as a natural feature. They don't consider the fact that man has been modifying the surface of our Earth for thousands and thousands of years. So even if they go study it closely, they're going to make it fit a natural process, and they're never going to think it's man-made, when it's pretty obvious that all of this is man-made. The entire island has been turned into agricultural fields, and there were these great empires that were here. So when the Spanish came, there was still this sophisticated culture here of people that had writing, and they actually looked like Indians from the Indus Valley, and they had very elaborate and wealthy clothing. So the elites in these societies would have been buried in these features. This is the northwest part of the island. When you zoom in close, you can see that this is all created by these hills. So I noticed that some of these hills are in a circular pattern with a hill in the middle, so that could be a really important tomb. There are also all these individual portraits and faces on the landscape. And there's probably going to be important tombs somewhere within that image. A lot of the time it appears that earlobes were important to these people. So I think this island up here is man-made. If you're an empire and you want to expand your productivity, one way to do it is to expand the actual landmass. And this wouldn't have been too hard to do. And as you can see, it becomes the mouth of a whale. I'll show you more about this island later. So another way to increase productivity if you're an empire occupying this island is to take a somewhat flat surface and turn it into an undulating surface, and that increases the surface area because the slope distance is greater than the horizontal distance. I also think that a lot of these hills have burials either inside them or deeply below. So if we look more at the landscape, here's some incredible artwork. So I'm not a geologist, but I do know art, and I know that this can't be created by nature, that man has to do this. Some of these images appear to show people using different scopes to survey the land, which would be a necessity to do all this artwork. You'd have to have very, very detailed maps of the topography so that you could create this art. This is more down on the southern part of the island. There's some real perspective here, and maybe some Christian iconography. You have to understand that these empire builders that were everywhere around the world, they were comprised of various tribes of different ethnicity and different cultural backgrounds. So among these people, I've found there were early Christians. Here are some more examples of hills that form various figures and glyphs. I think again people are buried in these features. And then even off into the valley, the little hills here, it's all art. And it gets real complex in this area. Here's a different kind of area, a lot of red soil or rock that looks like it's probably been brought up from below the surface. This could have been some sort of prehistoric iron mining area. And this way you actually have a theme of different animals. So if you zoom out, look at the whole island. It's all been modified by ancient man to create art. They even like to do funny things like this. And you'll see when it rotates around. So one last thing I wanted to show you that I discovered here in Bohol. Over here, this thing I said was a man-made island. If you look closely, it's actually this platform mound built up. When you rotate it different ways, you can see the portraits of different people in the landscape. I wonder how many of the thousands of islands in the Philippines were actually made by ancient man, like I think this one was. So there you have it, what I've discovered about the chocolate hills of the Philippines. I've always thought these are man-made. I finally went and looked closer at the satellite photos to prove it. I wish our scientists would start looking at the surface of our planet in a different way and quit relying on these assumptions from hundreds of years ago.